This is the Star Wars character's logical explanation video. There are many ways to arrive at the solution of this puzzle without guessing. This is just one way. Starting with rule number 1, we know that characters in each row are organized by the release date of the film they first appear in, and no two characters in a row were first introduced in the same movie. This means any characters introduced in Episode 4, A New Hope, should be in column 1 of the grid. These are Leia Organa, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. By the same logic, Kylo Ren, Rey, Snoke, and Finn should all be in column 4 since they were all introduced in Episode 7, The Force Awakens. From rule number 5, we know that Princess Leia and Supreme Leader Snoke should both be in row 1. Along with the bounty hunter Boba Fett and Queen Amidala. Since Boba Fett was introduced in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett should be to the left of Queen Amidala, who was introduced in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. From rule number 4 we know that Yoda, who first appears in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, is adjacent to Anakin and his children. Since we know Leia belongs in the top left corner, Yoda must go in this position to be able to be adjacent to Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker as well. This also means that Obi-Wan Kenobi must be placed in the bottom left corner of the grid. Rule number 3 states that Obi-Wan's mentor and his mentor's killer are on the same diagonal as Obi-Wan. Therefore Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn will end up in one of these two positions on the diagonal, since Snoke already occupies the top right corner. According to rule number 2, grandchildren will be in the same row as their grandfathers. This means Kylo Ren and Darth Vader should be in the same row. Since these are two antagonists, there must be two protagonists between them to follow rule number 6. The only two protagonists available are Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn. Since we already know Yoda belongs in this position, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, and Qui-Gon Jinn must all belong in row 2. We now have row 1, row 2, and column 1 solved. Rey must also be in the same row as her grandfather, Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine cannot fit in row 3 because he is introduced on film before Darth Maul, and we already know Darth Maul belongs in this position. This means Rey and Palpatine should both be in row 4. We can now organize Jabba the Hutt, Count Dooku, and Palpatine according to the release dates of the films they were introduced in. Count Dooku was introduced in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and so can be placed to the right of Darth Maul, who was introduced in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And Palpatine, who was introduced in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, can go to the left of Jabba the Hutt, who first appears in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. It is only in the special edition edits of Episode 4, A New Hope, that Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett appear, which is why Rule 1 states to only consider original release versions of each film. If we check logic now, we'll see the logical is solved and without any guessing.